few weeks ago, I shared with you a video of the first few steps of me transforming my front garden. So the first step was to remove that awful old conifer bush that was in the front of the garden. And if you've not seen that, that was a massive job. Just me and a tree saw. And I will put the link in the description for this video. Today I'm moving on with the next step, which is to put together some lovely planters that I've bought that I'm going to put where the conifer used to stand, which hopefully should look a lot more attractive. And then in the summer they're going to be there for, I think they're going to be perfect for growing tomatoes and things in that beautiful sort of sunny space that I have there. Here is one of the planters. So it comes in 4 metal sheets, which you then bolt together, and there's 3 bolts. Now, it said on the website it was easy assemble. And guess what? It actually is. It's really easy. I was so pleased about that because you never know, right, when it says on the website easy assemble, one person's easy assemble is another person's mental breakdown. But yeah, I've had absolutely no trouble with that. So this is the 3rd one that I'm putting together, and I've got the final one over there. So that's the first bit of good news. Now, I wanted to give a tip here in terms of filling these planters, because as you can see, they are big, and the volume of compost required would be significant if you were going to buy compost bags to fill, particularly if you remember that I've got 4 to fill. So, I mean, I reckon you're looking at about 3 compost bags per planter, which is going to get very expensive very quickly. But do you need to fill this space with compost? No is the answer. So it depends a lot on what you're going to grow. But in my case, my plan is to grow tomatoes. And tomatoes are quite shallow rooted plants, as you know, if you've ever grown them in a grow bag. So probably their roots won't get down much more than maybe the 2nd bolt there. So therefore, why spend money on putting really fancy compost in the lower layer? It's not necessary. So my lower layer here, I will be using garden soil from leftover pots to fill this space. And you could also use you could use something like cardboard to pad it out. Of course, bear in mind with cardboard, that's going to degrade, so you would need to keep topping up the soil level because it will sink down. That trick would work for a lot of like flowers, which are shallow rooted, salad plants. It would work for a lot of plants, but obviously not things like root vegetables, or if you're planning on growing a big tree or shrub, then I recommend filling it with good quality soil throughout. Of course, it doesn't have to be shop bought compost. It could also be compost that you've made yourself. Yeah, so I think that is a top tip, I hope, for you anyway, and certainly it's going to save me a lot of money because I'm going to be using a lot less compost if I just do the top level versus the whole of all of these 4 containers. So I just brought the 4 planters round here to the front garden. They're now fully assembled and ready to fill, but I just had a bit of an idea come into my head before I do that that I wanted to share with you, which is because they're planters, they're going to be quite hard to reposition once they're in place, especially once you put all that heavy soil in. So if you're a bit OCD, make sure you have them in exactly the right position before you start filling them up. Those kind of things don't normally bother me, but yeah, I'm going to see them every day, I guess, as I come back from work. So yeah, it'd be good to get them in the right position from the start. Here are my 4 tomato planters in position. So I already think it's looking a lot better. Tilly's keeping a very watchful eye from the window there. So yeah, I'm going to use these old pots here to help fill up these planters cheaply, so I don't have to use too much compost. Again, in the spirit of not spending my entire bank account on this transformation, I think once I've got the soil in place, I'm going to sow some seeds, just some cheap annual seeds in position, but they're going to look really lovely. I'm thinking of maybe putting in some calendula. You can see that there. So calendula is a really good companion plant for tomatoes. It helps to keep some of the pests that plague tomato plants at bay, and also they're really beautiful, fun flowers, and you can eat the flowers too. So they're my plans, and yeah, I better get filling up these planters. I've just started filling up my planters. So as you can see, the first layer is really just old cardboard, sticks, wood. Depending on the time of year, if you've got a lot of leaves lying around, that would be a really cool thing to fill them up with. And I'm then going to throw on some of the old compost. Before then, yeah, I can then put on the compost that the plants will actually be growing in, with all the nutrition that they need. So that just shows you, when you look at that layer there, that if that was that would be like a whole bag of compost, right? So savings can be made, and like I say, unless you're growing a tree, a shrub, or like a root vegetable like a potato or some carrots, then you really don't need to fill the whole of this planter, all of these 4 planters, with entirely with compost. Save the compost, because it's an expensive and valuable resource. Save the compost for where it is going to be used by the plants. So yeah, that's one planter full. Just finished topping it up with the Dalefoot wall compost there. So yeah, that's how you can keep your costs down when filling up your planters. There you go. So that's my tomato planters in place, ready for my tomato plants when they're big enough. I mean, they're currently about that big. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a wait. And also, obviously, we need to wait for the cold nights to pass. So it's still far too early to be planting them out in the UK. But yeah, I will keep sharing with you on this channel how my front garden changes as the spring and summer goes on. And hopefully you'll get to see the full transformation. And it's, I hope, going to be a big improvement on the old conifer bush that I got rid of. So I'll be interested to hear if anyone else has had any experiences of growing maybe unusual plants in their front garden space, or even transforming their back garden. So let me know in the comments section what you're doing to change your garden this year, and yeah, I'd love to hear from you.